You're driving home peacefully, maybe after a long day at work, maybe after dinner with friends. Then suddenly you see flashing blue and red lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty. You wonder what went wrong. You pull over, the window comes down. The officer begins asking questions that sound completely normal, routine, even polite. But what many people don't realize is that every word spoken in that moment can be used to build a case against you, right there on the side of the road. One wrong answer, even if you are completely sober, can change everything. In this video, we're diving into a topic most drivers never seriously think about: how seemingly harmless questions during a traffic stop can turn into evidence against you. We'll break down common traps during alcohol-related traffic stops and, more importantly, how to protect yourself. No fear tactics, no exaggeration, just clear, practical information so you understand your rights and can handle the situation intelligently. Let's start with a question almost everyone recognizes. You get pulled over. The officer approaches your window and asks, "Have you had anything to drink tonight?" It sounds casual, almost like small talk. But in reality, this is often the opening move in an investigation. The purpose of the question is not conversation, it's confirmation, even a small one. Many people believe honesty will help, so they respond, "Just one beer with dinner." What they don't realize is that this single sentence can later be used as an admission that alcohol was involved. Whether it was one drink or several, it's now on record. At that point, the stop can shift from a routine traffic interaction to a potential DUI investigation. Even if you are under the legal limit, the admission alone may justify further testing. People want to cooperate. They want to be polite. They assume transparency will get them back on the road faster. But in practice, it often works the opposite way. What starts as a simple answer can lead to a full investigation. It's important to understand that you are not required to incriminate yourself. Staying polite is essential, but you have the right not to answer questions that could later be used against you. Silence is not an admission of guilt. It is a constitutional right. Then comes another common question: where are you coming from? Again, it sounds harmless, just basic conversation, but there's a purpose behind it. If you say you're coming from a party, a bar, a restaurant, or any event where alcohol is served, you automatically create a link to potential drinking, even if you didn't drink at all. For the officer, that may be enough to deepen the investigation. It's not illegal to leave a bar, but mentioning it creates a connection that increases suspicion. Many drivers answer without thinking. They describe their evening, who they were with, what time they left. It feels like normal social interaction. But during a traffic stop, it isn't casual conversation. It's information gathering. You are not obligated to provide your personal itinerary. Politely declining to answer questions about where you've been is within your rights. A third question can be even more strategic. Do you know why I pulled you over? This may sound cooperative, like you're working together to figure something out, but often the goal is to get you to admit to a traffic violation. If you say, "Maybe I was going a little fast," you've just admitted to speeding. If you say, "I might have drifted a bit," that can be interpreted as failing to maintain your lane. Many DUI investigations begin with a minor traffic violation, not using a signal, briefly crossing a line, slightly exceeding the speed limit. By volunteering a possible mistake, you reinforce the basis for the stop. The safest approach is simple. Don't guess, don't speculate, and don't admit to something you're unsure about. A neutral response protects you from accidentally making a statement that could be used later. Then comes the moment that makes many drivers nervous. The officer asks if you would step out of the vehicle to perform a few tests. It's often presented as something minor, just to make sure everything's okay. These are field sobriety tests: walking in a straight line, standing on one leg, following an object with your eyes. What most people don't understand is that these tests rely heavily on subjective interpretation. The officer is observing and evaluating your movements. Small mistakes, swaying, stepping off line, starting too early, can be documented as indicators of impairment. But consider the environment. It's dark, cars are passing by, emergency lights are flashing. You're anxious, maybe tired, maybe standing on uneven pavement. All of that affects coordination, yet those factors may not be emphasized in a written report. What remains are the clues noted during the test. In many jurisdictions, field sobriety tests are voluntary. You have the right to decline. That doesn't automatically mean you're guilty. It simply means you are choosing not to provide additional subjective evidence. Some drivers believe cooperating will prove their innocence, but nerves alone can cause performance issues. And nervousness is completely normal during a traffic stop. Then there's the roadside breath test, often presented as a quick, simple check. If you've got nothing to hide, why not just blow? It sounds reasonable, but portable breath devices are not always perfectly accurate, and even a reading below the legal limit can still contribute to further investigation if other observations have already been made. Drivers often feel pressure. They want to demonstrate that they are compliant and have done nothing wrong. But in many places, you may legally refuse a roadside breath test. The consequences of refusal vary depending on the state or country, so it's important to understand local laws. What matters most is this: the purpose of these questions is not to help you. The purpose is to collect information. Each answer can become part of a larger narrative. This doesn't mean you should be hostile, quite the opposite. Stay calm, stay respectful. Provide identification and required documents when asked. Comply with lawful orders. But think carefully before answering questions that go beyond basic identification. Many legal problems don't start with what someone drank. They start with what someone said. A careless comment, an attempt to be helpful, a guess about what might have happened. Preparation matters. Not because you plan to do something wrong, but because you never know when you might face an unexpected situation. If you are stopped, stay calm, keep your hands visible. Provide your license and registration when requested, but pause before answering investigative questions. You have the right not to make statements that could incriminate you. That right exists to protect everyone, not just those who are guilty, but also those who may be misunderstood. Traffic stops are stressful, even for innocent drivers. Authority, flashing lights, and uncertainty naturally create pressure. And under pressure, people tend to talk too much. They try to explain. They fill silence. That's often where problems begin. We live in a time where many interactions are recorded. Dash cams, body cams, cell phones. Statements can be replayed and analyzed later. That makes awareness crucial. Not fear, awareness. The most important takeaway is this: know your rights before you need them. Don't wait until flashing lights appear in your mirror. Politeness and calmness are your strongest tools. Emotional reactions rarely improve the situation. Short, respectful responses, or politely declining to answer certain questions, are often the smartest approach. And remember, silence is not an admission of guilt. It is a fundamental right. If this breakdown helps you feel more prepared on the road, stay informed about topics like this. Knowledge creates confidence, and confidence helps you stay composed, even when unexpected flashing lights appear behind you. Drive safely, stay informed, and always understand your rights before someone else defines your story for you.